Over the past few days, I've received numerous phone calls, letters, and emails expressing sympathy for my mother's long, painful battle. Many of you know that Seema Tendulkar fought ovarian cancer for 8 years and finally succumbed to it on August 9, 2014. However, as the calls came in, a pattern emerged. A number of people had no idea that my mom was doing badly, and some even had no idea that she had had cancer at all. That flabbergasted me. Major surgeries, years of chemotherapy, and gradually weakening over the past few months. How did she avoid the subject? And I realized that the answer was staring at me in the face. It was her willpower at work. She refused to let her disease define her. My mom had a specific vision of how she wanted her life to be, and she would accept nothing less. It started long before the cancer. Mom had a very specific way that she wanted things done at home. She had 2 dish sponges, one for vegetarian dishes and one for meat. She insisted on loading the dishwasher a certain way, and she would let her dissatisfaction be known if we did it incorrectly. And she decreed that if you ate shrimp rice in her home, you had to have it with tup, which is a form of clarified butter. Are you on a low-fat diet? Doesn't matter. In her eyes, there was only one way to eat it. It wasn't limited to food inside the home either. My wife has often asked me why I refuse to have soup at restaurants. That's because, growing up, my mom would always demand that soup arrive piping hot. The problem was that her version of piping hot was approximately equal to the surface temperature of the sun. It had to scald the inside of your mouth. And who serves soup like that? So, frequently, she would send soup back. And if there's one thing I know about restaurants, it's that you never send soup back. Sometimes that willpower of mom's would spill into outright stubbornness. If she was driving and someone honked at her, she'd honk right back. Many years ago, I backed into someone in a parking lot. Mom told me that it was my fault. A few years later, Mom backed into me in her driveway. She told me that it was my fault. But I'm just talking about little examples. As a child, the little examples were all that I could grasp. However, now, as an adult, I can look back and realize larger patterns. Mom's willpower shaped her life and the lives of many people sitting here today in immense ways. An obvious example is her English. Mom had a pretty thick accent when she first came to the US, but she wanted to acclimate, so she worked on her pronunciation and grammar. She even made flashcards to memorize American idioms. Flashcards. She was so determined to improve her English that she studied it like she was still in school. And that was part of a larger thing. Mom valued education. She made us memorize multiplication tables, practice vocabulary, and solve logic puzzles. She and my dad put me and Nikhil through the best schools in San Jose. She told us not to worry about paying for our college, and she concentrated on her real estate career so that my parents could afford to pay for both of us. They gave us a debt-free start to our adult lives. At the same time, Mom's real estate career was more than just a way to pay for our schooling. She was passionate about it. She treated her clients like family, and she treated their home purchase as if it were her own. On more than one occasion, Mom flat out refused to let her clients buy a home that she felt was wrong for them. On at least one occasion, she lost their business to somebody else. Her ability to walk away from tens of thousands of dollars to maintain her professional integrity speaks volumes. Seeing these larger patterns of her willpower, then, makes it unsurprising that my mom survived as long as she did with ovarian cancer. The initial prognosis in 2006 was that she would live 1.5 to 2 years. But she said no. She had to see her sons finish college. She had to see her sons finish graduate school. In 2011, fresh out of major surgery with open wounds, Mom flew to Columbus, Ohio so that she could see Nikhil walk across the stage. She had to see my marriage. She had to see my first home. She went into remission 3 times so that she could see all of these things. Mom endured so much pain and suffering in large part because she wanted to see our family grow closer together. She was very close to her siblings, and she believed that family is everything. Her most fervent desire was that we should all be as close as her generation was. As the surrogate mother to my generation of cousins in the US, she was responsible for bringing our extended family closer together. It is never easy to say goodbye to someone that you love, but I'm so happy that Mom got to see her family grow closer together, in part because of her cancer. My dad, Prakash, was constantly by her side during the worst times. Nikhil stayed in her home despite a long commute and despite the fact that she nags him all the time for emotional support. My aunts Ujwala and Nima came to the US multiple times to take care of her. I moved to her home to administer end-of-life care. Throughout it all, my cousins and extended family showered us with visits, phone calls, and food. We banded together for moral support, and it formed lifelong bonds that distance and time will only test but never break. Her strongest desire was fulfilled, and she passed on quietly, surrounded by loved ones at her bedside. I miss her, but I'm also grateful that her pain is over. And I think that's the real tragedy of this occasion. Nikhil and I are not the only ones who lost our mom. Several of us lost our mom today. Many of you lost your Maushi, your Aji, your Tai, your dear friend, your wife. Helen Keller once wrote, "All the world is full of suffering. It is also full of overcoming." Seema Tendulkar suffered tremendously, but she also overcame a lot. As I like to think of it, the cancer honked at her 3 times, and she honked right back 3 times. I only hope I have the same strength of will in my life to overcome the challenges that will come my way. Rest in peace, Mom. If anyone else has a story that they would like to share, please feel free to come forward.
I'm going to share something from her sisters, from her sister and her brothers from India. They wrote something for her to share with the family. Our sister Seema finally lost her brave yet prolonged battle with cancer on August 9th, 2014. Although we knew the final outcome, we were not fully prepared for her sudden demise. Today we have gathered here to celebrate her life. None of us could make it there in person, but we would like to share some of our thoughts and memories with you. Seema was the eldest sibling of our family and the ultimate boss. She was very popular amongst her friends and famous for her long flowing hair and impeccable style. Our early memories of her are when she was in the 9th or 10th grade. She was very sincere, smart, and above all, obsessed with cleanliness. Raising her 2 younger brothers in a disciplined manner was her mission, and for that she had made her own code of conduct and manual, which she used to implement on us through the superintendent, our dad. Her judgments and decisions were well respected by our parents. She excelled academically and subsequently was hired by a reputed bank. With her first salary, she bought me sunglasses of my choice, a memory I cherish dearly. She immigrated to the US in 1981 following her wedding, and our correspondence reduced to the bare minimum given the limited and expensive means of communication. We were unable to travel and meet her unless she visited India. In 2006, while on a visit to India to attend our niece's wedding, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. This was devastating news, shocking to say the least, and she rushed back to her home and family. It was during her illness that we as siblings came closer than ever before. The past 8 years were some of the most difficult and painful years of her life, going through innumerable chemos and surgeries. But she was always high on spirit and ready to take her chances to live another day. She was fortunate enough to live through both her sons' graduations, Mihir's wedding and his first home. She worried that Nikhil would not be able to start residency in the specialty of his choice, but that fear too was overcome when he was accepted at Stanford. All of us were able to see her during this year, starting with her visit to India, followed by Nima visiting her in April, and finally my visit in June. She was happy that she was able to spend time with her family and friends, and extremely fortunate that Prakash accompanied her to fulfill her wish to visit India one last time. I would like to thank Prakash, Mihir, Jagmeet, Nikhil, Janu, Ravi, Sonal and family, Neelu and family for caring for her and being very supportive to her during her illness. Rest in peace, Seema. We miss you terribly. Nima, Sham and Hema.
Namaste. As Panditji said, it is a sad day. It is a happy day too. A noble soul has gone back to the Creator. With open arms, He is welcoming her. Sad, surely it is sad for the reason we are going to miss her. I was her friend for the last so many years. But she treated me as a big sister, and I treated her as my younger sister. I never had. Whatever the past I know, we used to talk on the phones. The AT&T's unlimited time minutes, we abused her or we made use of it. We had to think. We used to talk. I think I never talked this much to anybody in the world, person like that. Every day we must have a talk. And A to Z we must tell what we had done, what we wanted. Even with the TV on, we will discuss, oh, look at that person, this, look at this, that one, all silly things. Even cooking, oh, salt was less, this was this, that was that, anything, Now, past about her family, she was so lucky in every way. She was saying that I had wonderful parents, brothers, sisters, and their families. They loved her. She was telling me how lucky she is to have Janu here in America. She said, my life has become more happy because she is here, and not only that she adored her, her in-laws, her two sister-in-laws, Neelu and Sulu, Ravi and Viva. I mean, every time she will talk about them, and last few years, whenever she was going after chemo, and it was like visiting that family, Ravi's family, sister, brother, everybody. She was like a battery charging, she will get charged and come home and be so happy. And I will encourage her, go there, and they are so nice people. Even I had that happiness of meeting them, and I felt like at home. And Vivan was also so sweet. He will say, Lalu de, Laddu she want. And even though she had no strength to stir the rava and all that, she wanted to make laddus for him. So, past while she was saying how lucky I am, good family and friends, numerous friends. She was working in the bank, and she was saying there was a Parsi gentleman who was her boss, and she was saying he was so overprotective of me, how he treated me like a daughter and protected me every time, So all those things she will tell them about present this last 8 years. I have seen she going through all that thing, and I'll say, no, 2 years, don't believe that. Take my word, I tell her, don't worry that you will be seeing everything, don't worry. and everything progress. And see, I told you, you will see me getting married, the son becoming doctor, everything. In that all situation which she was going through, she admired Prakash. She admired Prakash so much. She said, what a gentleman he is, how big-hearted he is, how much he did for her. And last time also she was telling, some accident happened, she couldn't bend, Prakash couldn't bend, but he did all that thing. And she was saying to me that, I want to write a letter telling him about all the good things he did and thank him. So I said, yeah, you do. If you have strength, you do, or put a draft in the email. And I don't know whether she has written or not, but she wanted that. She wants her sons, her husband, everybody to take care. I promised her that I will call your sons, not as much as I call you, but occasionally, and talk with him. And she said, yeah, and don't forget Prakash. You know, just call him, even if he doesn't answer the phone, he doesn't answer many a time, but you just call. And I said, yeah, warrior, we will definitely make attempts to that. And she was worried about Prakash and very, very thankful. And another person in her life she admired was her brother-in-law, Seema Tendulkar. She always said, you know, every time he must bring me chocolates. Even if I tell him, don't bring chocolate, he will bring me chocolates. He will bring me perfumes, he will bring me. She liked all her in-laws, and by her example, she always wanted to tell her children that you have to have your family first. I mean, be together, you know, in this technology, at least by email or whatever takes, I don't know all the words, but you can be in touch with them. Just because of your profession or career, don't leave anybody neglected. One time she was telling me, I don't know whether Preeti is here, I am going to tell Preeti to make khichdi and curry for me, and I will ask Prakash to make bhaji. That was the thing. I don't know what happened, because last few days I am in Austin, Texas, and my communication with her was not that much, but she was saying. Then her dreams were traveling, she said, have not fulfilled. She would, one time Prakash, me and Varian, we all went to Yellowstone Park. Then she said, we should go on the cruise, we should go to Hawaii, we should go to Europe. I want to go to London and do shopping in Saks. I don't know, is it the famous thing? Something she remembered. Am I saying the right word? Something. There I want to do shopping. So all this was her future plans. And so many times she would tell, oh, people ask me, how are you doing, and all that. And I said, and she would reply, oh, well, my passport is ready. I'm just waiting for the visa. As soon as visa comes, I will be leaving. And looks like the visa has come. And she's leaving. I think a lot of things I have to talk and tell. Time is short. All the time we have spoken. Seema, I never told you I love you. But this is the last time I'm telling you I love you. I came last month, not last month, in June, and she kept her head on my shoulder, and I was just going through her hair, kissing her and saying goodbye, but I thought I might come again. Both of us never shed any tears and all that, but in our heart, we know this could be our last thing. And she knew I loved her. And this is first time I'm telling you I love you and I'll miss you. And I'll see you in the heaven when I come. You can tell me everything. We'll continue. Thank you very much.
I am Inder, and I just want to share a couple of brief recollections of Seema. She helped us buy our first house in 1990, 24 years ago. I was 29 at the time, and she was a shade older. And right away I was struck by her grace, her patience, her confidence, and her upright posture. She was a proud woman, and you could see that. Over the years, we stayed in touch, we worked together. She was very proud of her children. There was a time when a question arose as to, I think Nikhil and Mihir were applying to some great school, to which I had heard there was a difficult entrance exam. And I or my sister said, "We hear there's a difficult entrance exam." She said, "For my sons, please." And over the years, I'm a physician. She would call me off and on about her diagnosis, treatment, helping her see the right doctors. So I could tell that she was doing worse, but she never discussed it openly. She took it as a very matter of fact, always a very positive, struck by her positive outlook. We last talked about 3 months ago, and as we were talking, I think the doorbell rang, and she said, "I'm sorry, I've got to attend to this. The hospice is here with some oxygen." I said, "Seema, you're on hospice?" She said, "Oh, that's only because that's the only way they'd send me oxygen at home. It's nothing." So she was very, very positive. I remember how excited she was when Jagmeet and Mihir got married, and how excitedly she called me the day Nikhil got into Stanford. I've got to tell you. So her love of her family and her inner strength would always stay with me. She was an amazing woman.
Is there any other speakers? So please come here, or will then move the body to the crematorium. Yeah, officers, please.